Ryan had always believed in loyalty. Through the years, he had put his heart and soul into his marriage with Emily. He had been patient, understanding, and forgiving, even when the small cracks in their relationship began to appear. He had assumed love was enough, that staying committed through challenges would keep them together. But that afternoon, Emily's words shattered the illusion he had held onto for so long. They were in the kitchen, a quiet Sunday afternoon. Ryan had made her coffee, placed it carefully on the counter, and smiled as he did every morning. He wanted to ask her about her day, wanted to share a laugh, maybe even hold her hand as they had countless times before. But before he could speak, Emily looked at him with cold eyes and said, almost casually, "Ryan, maybe it's time you realize, I don't need you the way you think I do." The words hit him like a storm. Not angry, not dramatic, just sharp, undeniable truth. Ryan froze, then nodded slowly. He didn't beg. He didn't question. He understood immediately that this wasn't about a temporary disagreement or a passing frustration. Emily had already decided. She expected him to stay, to plead, to beg for a continuation that she no longer wanted. But Ryan had learned something in the years of quiet patience. Love and respect were not one-sided. Staying blindly, sacrificing his dignity for appearances, was not loyalty, it was surrender. That morning, something inside him shifted. He realized that he had a choice. To stay and fade into someone else's story, or to walk away with control, with composure, and with the clarity that only comes from facing reality head-on. He quietly moved around the house, gathering his thoughts, cataloging everything he had given to this relationship, and everything he had silently endured. For months, he had tolerated subtle dismissals, unnoticed sacrifices, and invisible emotional erosion. But now, armed with awareness and patience, he was ready to act. Not with anger, not with theatrics, but with calculated certainty that would leave no room for misunderstanding. Over the next few days, Ryan observed quietly, without letting Emily notice. He paid attention to her routines, the subtle shifts in her tone, the way she interacted with friends and coworkers. Small details that might have seemed insignificant to anyone else were glaring to him. The way she lingered on certain conversations, the fleeting smiles she gave to someone else, the messages she quickly hid whenever he walked into the room. He could feel the betrayal, but he refused to act impulsively. Ryan had learned over time that reactions fueled drama and gave others power. Instead, he focused on preparation. He began securing his finances, personal accounts, and documents, quietly gathering proof of the emotional distance that had quietly grown between them. He cataloged each moment, every slight, every dismissive gesture, not out of revenge, but to understand the reality he was living in. Meanwhile, he maintained the appearance of the devoted husband everyone else saw. He continued helping with chores, being attentive in front of family and friends, and offering words of encouragement. But inside he was no longer passive. Every smile he gave, every nod, was deliberate, calculated to keep control of the situation. Then came the turning point. One evening, Emily invited a coworker, Daniel, over under the guise of a casual discussion. Ryan observed discreetly, piecing together the interactions he had suspected for weeks. Every glance, every shared laugh, every subtle touch confirmed his suspicions. Emily had already emotionally invested in someone else, and the audacity of her previous words, the expectation that he would stay, was now unmistakably clear. Ryan felt a strange sense of empowerment. The fear and anxiety that had plagued him for months began to fade, replaced by clarity. He had witnessed everything, gathered undeniable proof, and had taken steps to ensure his own life, finances, and dignity were secure. Emily may have expected him to stay, to react in desperation or despair, but Ryan had chosen a different path. One of calm, controlled observation and deliberate planning. For the first time in months, he slept with a sense of purpose. He wasn't helpless. He wasn't a victim. He was ready to act, not out of rage, but from a place of authority, control, and self-respect. And when the moment finally arrived, the shock would be hers, not his. A week later, Ryan's patience and careful observation reached their tipping point. Emily, unaware of the depth of his awareness, continued her subtle games, texting Daniel late at night, laughing at private jokes in a way she thought he couldn't see. lingering a little too long in moments that were meant to be private. But Ryan had seen it all. Every detail was recorded in his mind, catalogued, and carefully stored for the moment he would act. He didn't confront her impulsively. Instead, he continued to live in the house as the composed, attentive husband. Friends and family still saw the familiar Ryan, calm and steady, while inside he was quietly orchestrating the next steps. Each smile he offered, each casual gesture, was part of a larger plan. A plan not for revenge, but for clarity and undeniable truth. Then came the evening of the family dinner. Emily had invited Daniel under the guise of a harmless visit. Ryan had anticipated it and prepared. During the gathering, he revealed the truth, not as an accusation, not as a public humiliation, but as a matter-of-fact reality. He spoke calmly, detailing the emotional distance, the secret gestures, the clear signs of her attachment to someone else. His words were precise, leaving no room for denial. The room fell silent. Emily's mother stared, eyes wide with shock. Daniel's presence was suddenly awkward, the hidden interactions laid bare. Emily, confronted with undeniable evidence, could no longer hide behind her casual indifference. Ryan didn't shout. He didn't beg. He simply presented the facts with unwavering calm, allowing the truth to speak for itself. For Ryan, the moment was empowering. He had reclaimed control over a situation that had left him feeling powerless for months. By acting with dignity, patience, and precision, he had shifted the balance. Emily may have expected him to stay, to react emotionally, but Ryan had chosen a different path, one of self-respect and strategic clarity. That night, the dynamics changed irrevocably. The marriage would never be the same, and the shock wasn't in punishment, it was in revelation. Ryan had shown that silence, observation, and calculated honesty could be more powerful than any dramatic confrontation. He had spoken the truth, and in doing so, he had secured his own dignity, leaving everyone, including Emily, speechless.